Jai Mahamaya Ki Jai. So we're going to continue with the discourse on the Chandi pot, written by Swami Satyananda, Saraswati. And there's more information on where you can learn more about him and get this wonderful book for yourself. If you remember our last discourse, there was the great battle going on. And after many self-conceits and self-deprecations, generals have been slaughtered in the battle by the Divine Mother and her invincible weapons of devotion and love and perseverance. They themselves came with their huge armies and first sent in their valiant general, Ratabija, who was also slain. And now here we are. I'll begin with the meditation. I take refuge in the supremely divided one, the Lord, who is both male and female, continuously without end. Her color is like flowers or excellent gold with a red and yellow mixture. In her beautiful hand she holds a rosary, a net, a curved sword, and shows the mudra giving blessings. The radiant half moon is on her ornament, and she has 3 eyes. So after the death of the seed of desires, Ratabija, and other thoughts in the battle, there was no limit to the anger of self-conceit and self-deprecation. Seeing that his extensive army was being killed in this way, self-deprecation, along with his foremost soldiers, in great anger, ran toward the goddess. In front of him and behind him, and also on both side flanks, were great thoughts who expressed anger by biting their lips, and they came to kill the goddess. The extremely violent self-conceit also came in great anger, along with his army, to do battle with the multitude of mothers, and to kill she who tears apart thought, Chandika. Then self-conceit and self-deprecation began a violent fight with the goddess. Those two thoughts, in the manner of clouds, caused a fearful shower of arrows. Those hurled arrows were immediately cut in flight by the mass of arrows from the bow of she who tears apart thought, and the multitude of other weapons she rained upon the two. Kings of thought wounded their bodies. Self-deprecation took a sharp sword and shining shield and struck the goddess's carrier, the lion, upon the head. After her carrier was wounded, the goddess immediately cut the sword of self-deprecation into pieces with her arrows, and also his shield, which was inlaid with 8 moons. When his sword and shield were torn in pieces, that thought thrust his energy, but the goddess cut it into pieces by her discus. His temper-flaring self-deprecation took his pike to fight with the goddess, but she instantly pulverized it with a blow of her fist. Then he grabbed a club and hurled it at the goddess, but that too, she who tears apart thought, cut by her trident and reduced it to ashes. Thereafter, the king of thought, self-deprecation, took a battle axe in his hands, but seeing him coming, the goddess let loose a multitude of arrows, and having wounded him, she put him to rest on the earth. After self-deprecation was laid to rest on the earth, his extremely fierce brother was greatly agitated, and he approached to kill the mother of the universe. Seated on his chariot, he was displaying magnificent weapons in his 8 mighty arms, and he covered the entire atmosphere with his wonderful brilliance. Seeing him approaching, the goddess sounded her conch and made an excessively unbearable noise along with the twang of her bowstring. The sound of her bell, which destroys the splendor of all thoughts, pervaded in all directions. Thereafter the lion gave a roar, hearing which even the greatest kings of elephants lost their pride, and the hum of the roar filled the earth, the atmosphere, and the 10 directions. Then the remover of darkness, Mother Kali, leaped into the atmosphere, and with her 2 hands she slapped the earth. From this there was such an excessive noise that the preceding loud noises became quiet. Thereafter she, for whom consciousness is emissary, gave a great hoarse laugh to the displeasure of the thoughts, and hearing this, all the thoughts began to shudder. Self-conceit was greatly agitated. The goddess said to self-conceit, "O wicked one, stand fast." And then the voice of the gods rose in the atmosphere. "Victory to you," they called. As self-conceit was advancing, he thrust an extremely fearful luminous energy, which was coming like a mountain of fire, and the goddess, with a great flame of fire, put it away. The atmosphere of the 3 worlds was pervaded by the lion-like cry of self-conceit, but of even greater volume was the frightful clap of thunder that conquered all other sounds. Self-conceit and the goddess cut one another's arrows in hundreds and thousands of pieces. Then the enraged she who tears apart thought struck him with the pike and wounded him. He fell to the ground senseless. Then self-deprecation, regaining his consciousness, took his bow and struck the goddess, the remover of darkness, and the lion with arrows. Again, the Lord of Confusion, the son of earthly concepts, extending 10,000 arms, attacked she who tears apart thought with the discus. Then the Supreme Lord, the destroyer of troubles and afflictions, grew angry and cut those discuses and arrows with her own arrows. Self-deprecation swiftly took his club and, accompanied by an army of thoughts, rushed forward to kill she who tears away thoughts, Mother Chandika. As he was approaching, she who tears apart thought cut his club with a sharp-edged sword, whereupon he seized a pike. As self-deprecation, the afflictor of gods, approached with pike in hand, she who tears apart thoughts swiftly pierced him in the heart with her own pike. Emerging from the heart, pierced by this pike, came a spirit of great strength and valor, crying, "Stop! Stop!" With loud laughter, the goddess severed his head with her sword, and he fell to the ground. Then the lion crushed the necks of many thoughts with his fierce teeth and ate them, while the remover of darkness, Kali, and she for whom consciousness is emissary, devoured others. Some great thoughts perished, being pierced by the energy of the ever-pure one, while others were repulsed, being sprinkled by the water sanctified by the incantation of creative energy. Others were cut by the trident, while others were ground to powder by the snout of the most excellent desire of union. Confusion was cut to pieces by the discus of the energy of consciousness that pervades all, and others by the thunderbolt hurled from the palm of the hand of the energy of the rule of the pure. Some thoughts perished and other thoughts fled from the battle, while still others were eaten by the remover of darkness, she for whom consciousness is emissary and who is the King of East. And we'll end with a meditation. With the fullness of my heart, I think of the female Lord of all, Kameshvari, the ruler of desire, who unites the intrinsic nature of Shiva and Shakti, of consciousness and energy, who wears the radiant half-moon on her head. Her luster is as beautiful as excellent gold. The sun, moon, and fire are her three eyes, and in her lovely hand she holds a bow and arrow, curved sword, net, and spear. Hare Kandeshwari Mata Ki Jai, Bole Baba Ki Jai.